we're back. We're back. We're back once again. It's a
Yay!
Monday. Happy Monday, Monday, Monday. How are you doing, Miss Hilda
I
Lamas?
am super fantastic. It is a Monday, but Monday is almost over, and it's my favorite time of Monday or part of Monday is when we get to do our show.
Yay. Yes, it is. It's a favorite Monday. Happy Monday to you and to everybody else. A big shout out from already our friends over at It's Tejano Time there in
Yay!
shout out from DFWs. Nice seeing the Tejano Bluesman in from Vegas, by the way. He saw him in Vegas and he's saying, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to
Awesome.
bring him on the show. He's already let the cat out of the bag. Who do we have today, today, girlfriend?
Well, we have the one and only Tejano Bluesman joining
Joe
us
Villanueva.
tonight.
Roll intro. It goes like this. Well, I guess the music is out of there. Here he is. Yay. Here
It's like the music's gonna start anytime now.
Anytime now. Anytime now. What happened to the damn music? I don't know.
Oh damn!
It's Monday. It didn't want to work.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's what I get for making it about 2 minutes before we started.
Andale.
Hey, come on. You know, I did it in 2 minutes. Come on.
Hey, that was good. It could have been 1 minute, but that's two. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. What happened to the music? That's weird. Anyway,
I
so
know.
cool. So how you been, Big Daddy?
Man, I have been busy. Like I said, I seen you in Vegas, and it was good seeing you there. And I think I walked in the middle of one of your interviews or something that was going on. I'm
All
like,
right.
oops.
It's okay. It's okay. No. And actually, we caught up at there in we did the whatchamacallit?
Oh yeah,
The
blank.
Dadgummit.
That one
The
thing. Yeah. It was that one thing at that
At
one place.
fanfare. Come
that
on, Lawrence.
yeah, the one place we weren't supposed to say. You gave it out.
Yes, that's the one at
It was
fanfare.
top
That's the one.
secret.
Oh, that place. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
the
you meant that
fanfare
other
one.
place.
The fanfare thing. Yeah.
Was that the
Yeah,
same?
no, the
That's not
radio
the same
gala.
place you had
Jeez
all them dollar
Louise.
bills at. Where was it?
The radio gala. We were at the radio gala. You were
Radio
with the
gala.
Hannah D, man. We were
Yeah,
at the
that's
radio
right.
gala.
It's like you're trying to get him in trouble.
No, I know, doesn't it? No. Remember that place where you put the
You
money on
remember?
the hip, slide that tip on the hip, last chance, last chance. No, that
Remember?
wasn't it. That wasn't it.
It was the night before. My bad.
That was the one
That's the
that
place you're
thunder from
not
down
supposed to talk
under.
about.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
next on the backstage, it's Cinnamon. No, that wasn't the place.
Oh, you remembered her name.
The sexy, sultry Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
And then you get on to me for talking about firemen.
Ah, jeez. There we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about him. It's okay.
It's already. Hey there, Linda. Hey, how's it going? No. It was.
I've never
terrible.
seen you so red.
I know, right? I was like already started. We
He's
just
in
got into
trouble.
this thing right now.
See?
Was it cinnamon or was it the fireman that did it?
Anyway, so how you been going?
It was funny. I think it was Honey Drip. I think that was her name. Honey Drip.
What a name, Honey Drip. Oh my god.
That's the one that broke
It
you,
was
remember?
something.
There was something. Yeah, she was something else, man.
Maybe it was both.
He was. Wow.
They were sisters, so I don't know.
They called her Hurricane Hallie.
There you go. Anyway,
She hit you with the biggins and she said, "Them's coconuts falling on your head."
On to the music.
Them coconuts. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, you open the door, bro, and I can't help it. It just
That's
comes
all right,
out.
man.
And I
It
don't know
is.
what-
And what
I
about
can
those
take a look.
firemen?
Take a look at this fireman. We ain't talking about no firemen.
Oh, come on. No, I've got like the best idea ever for firemen. You have no idea.
Get the
I
best
think it's
idea.
all my watching because I do a lot of like Chicago fire. So I
Oh.
think maybe that's why I like firemen so much.
Yeah, that's the one that just kind of stuck with your head. So okay, so right off the bat, you did release an album not too long ago, just
Yes.
recently. And one of the cool things that you did, man, you collaborated with a lot of great artists. You really did. You have a lot of younger artists, but you know what, First, let's backtrack before we go down that train real quick. Let's get your background out
Yeah.
because you are not a new artist. You are not. You have skins on the wall. You've been performing for a long time. You didn't give yourself the Tejano Bluesman name. You are the Tejano Bluesman because of your guitar musicmanship.
Right.
You are an accomplished musician. You
Thank you.
are a consummate musician.
Guilty. Somebody behind
Yeah,
me talking about.
guilty as charged. You know.
Cinnamon.
But you've been with a lot of groups and everything. As a matter of fact, you've been featured as a prominent musician in a lot of groups. And just for those of us that know who you are, we have great respect for you. But for those people that do not know who you are, just give us a couple of names that you've been with, just so that way the jaws
Um,
can drop and hit the floor.
well, I'm very fortunate enough to, the big band sound that I've got to be, and I still guest star sometimes with Powerhouse Aviso. And I love that big band sound. We get to play, you know, uh, the blues style stuff like barbacoa blues and stuff like that. It mixes in with the show and stuff. And I did some work. I got to get on stage with Hugo Guerrero, as well. And he's just a party animal. When he's up there, it's a party, deal. And I got to I met a lot of people as well. People that I didn't really think I was going to be able to meet in my life, but like Joe Bravo, Jimmy Edwards, Mr. Freddie Martinez, and a lot of these people is like, wow, I'm starstruck because I'm just a little old guy from Texas, but um, a lot of them people I was able to hang around and learn from, and then what do you say, hone my craft. Where it's like, okay, you're here, why don't you go ahead and try doing this? Because I started out playing rock and roll and blues and stuff like that when I was younger, and I went through that stage where I actually left when I was 18. I went to California to be Eddie Van Halen, so
Wow.
that didn't work out, but and then life happens, and I got married and got kids, and I came back to Houston, and I started doing. And before then, I was doing like up around here. They had Battle of the Bands and stuff. I'd get into there, and just play with stuff like that. But I wasn't until I really got with Aviso and started meeting a lot of people, and then I started getting more serious about the Tejano stuff, and then and once again, I was like, man, I'm really like, I get nervous and shy and stuff. And it's like, I'm not that person to get up there and, command the stage and stuff. But, I just let my guitar talk, and that's basically all I can do, you know. So then that's how, we fast forward to where we are now, because with a lot of help, like I said, with Aviso put me out there, and being able to be with all these other artists, that's, a blessing in itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely. Hello to Janie Rios from Conroe,
Oh,
Texas. She
hi,
says
Hello,
hello to hi.
Janie.
Yeah,
Janie.
yeah. Thank you so very much for joining the show, Janie. And you're right. You let your guitar do the talking for you. The
Mhm.
like I said, once again, the musicianship comes out. I've heard you play. I've heard your music. Obviously, I'm a fan of your music. I'm a
Thank
fan
you.
of the fact that you sit there and collaborate with other people. You are not too big for other people to sit there and to give the limelight with other people. You have an interesting story with Tejano.
Mhm.
D, how y'all guys got together and
Was it the taco
started.
one, or was it on social media? Because we
The
really
co-
we ran at a taco eating contest, and he won. So
I think I'm more on the music side, but tell me about the whole taco thing, man. That's a really good.
Now
we
you're
throw
making
that
me
out there.
hungry.
We throw that out there. But no, I was fortunate. I can sing a little bit of the bluesy stuff, but I'm more a guitar player, you know what I mean? So, and I love to work with other people, when the right project comes around. And for me, I just feel like a song comes up or something that I might want to do, and then it's a pair of shoes, and then I got to find the person that fits those shoes, you know.
Mm.
So that's where that comes into play, and then when I was doing, like I said, a lot with Aviso, and of course Chris Q is the lead singer of that, and he does a lot of the singing of the stuff that I do as well. And and it's like, well, if I'm going to venture off on my own, I gotta take the training wheels off, and let's go, and let's get your own
Yeah.
singer, get your own band. And I still am able to use some of them guys when I need them, but I need to get my own thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to find dedicated musicians because nowadays everybody wants to play everywhere with everybody. So it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to say, hey, you know, dude, I need you to be my dedicated bass player. Well, I got something coming up pretty soon. It's like, well, I'm trying to schedule stuff and I can't do that if I don't know, my band is available.
Yeah.
Right.
So then there I go. I gotta go pick, from here and pick from there, and let's try to get this done, or let's try to get
Mm-hmm.
this gig in, or and then the songs as well. I want it to be my band and my guys only, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's much easier
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still it's cool that you're reaching out for people and you're helping them. I think that's still that's still admirable. It's still worth
Thank
you
you.
know. I think, to be honest with you, that's what really separates us. You know, from other people because you're willing to help. Being willing
Mm-hmm.
to help, and advance the 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 music itself.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. It's that's the one thing that we lack sometimes in our what we do, because sometimes we run into
Mm-hmm.
roadblocks, and it's sometimes it's ourselves. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah,
And so we need to be able to be able to help each other. We shouldn't be our own roadblocks. We should help each other and level up together.
Yeah.
exactly. And the way I
Mm-hmm.
look at it is, you can get rappers get together, and they collaborate with each other, and they're
Yeah.
helping each other lift each other up.
Mm-hmm.
You get country stars as well. They all get together, and this one will play with that one, and they're big
Mm-hmm.
names, but medium names or little names or whatever. And next thing you know it, they're helping each other up. Rock and roll, it was like that a while ago, but there's right now the rock scene I think is really taking a seat back. You know what I mean? Because it's not as prominent as it used to be. Of course, all the '80s and '90s rock bands they were not all around right now. I mean, I guess some of them are doing some stuff, but I would say country and other people get together, they collaborate, and that's what we
Mm-hmm.
don't really do. It's like, why not help your brother or help your sister? If they want to, pursue a music career or they want to do anything that you can help them with, why not try? I mean, what does
Yeah.
it hurt? I think
Right.
what it is maybe the end value of what they want as an artist is what stops them from doing that. Okay. And
Mm.
I guess I can elaborate on that is like saying, you know, I'm not trying to be Mr. Number One on the chart all the time. I'm not trying to be Mr. Tejano all the time. I'm not trying to be all that stuff. I just love the music,
Yeah.
and I love playing music, and I love jamming with people. And if somebody else makes it, we all make it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's that's the way it should be. Not worried about, well, I really can't help this one because, or I can't help that one because they may be better than me. You know what I mean? And then
Yes,
there goes my.
exactly.
So I'm not in it that way to where I look at it that way. I'm more like, what, this is music. I've always loved music. I'm a little bit like, as far as professionally, late in the game to try to do this, but that's why I try to help everybody else because they're going to be here way after I'm gone. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. You know,
Well,
and then
music is eternal, and so it's not, and there's not a late in the game. There's just the game. So
yeah,
I wouldn't say that it's ever. I mean, look at Susan Boyle. She
yeah,
started in her late 40s, and she's doing just what she's doing, and
yeah.
it's more important what we do here in the now as opposed to
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And I think if you, I try to keep that in me all the time, and that way my head's not blowing up, and I can work with other artists, and I love, like I said, I love to collaborate, and the new ideas and the new sounds and the new music and stuff that can come out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all about music anyway. I mean, take everything away, take all this glitter and everything, and if you love music, that you're going to be sitting in your garage or wherever you are playing music.
yeah,
Right.
very
Yeah.
very
Because it's
true.
not about the accolades or the Data Boys or whatever. It's about the music. And that's why we do this, because we love music, not because we want all this pump and circumstance for it. I mean, it's
Right,
nice. Don't get me wrong. We love it when we get it.
right, right,
But if that's what we based our whole careers on, is, being on the charts, or even the money aspect of it, man, I would have quit a long time ago. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't you don't get all
You
that
don't
stuff
make
right
no
off the
money.
bat. You
You
have to
don't.
really love what you're doing to keep going in music. And I really love your outlook on things, and just the
Yeah,
whole
thank you.
collaborating. And I love to collaborate too. And it's amazing, when you get one or two or even more come together and they work on a project. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. I have not
Yeah.
heard one collaboration that I was like, yeah, no. I mean, everything just comes out so wonderfully when you get all that creativity together.
And
Yeah, it's very
and
true.
I mean, honestly, who else do you know, um, besides, and I can't even say off the top of my head, and maybe you guys can tell me, who collaborates with other people. I mean, there's a few people, maybe, I guess I see more of the younger artists that are doing that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, I know there's Shelly. Shelly's been
Yes,
really,
She's
really like
yes,
big on collaboration. She's the queen of
yes,
collabs,
yes, she is.
and she's just amazing. I know I've seen a few collaborations with Stevie D. He's another one who likes to collaborate. I mean, of course, all of your stuff
Mhm.
as well. And I don't really know. I mean, it seems like at a point, especially in this genre of music in Tejano, that there wasn't a lot of collaborations happening. But now I'm starting to see it kind of happen more frequently, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most definitely. Um, Alfredo Rios, he joins us that the lone miskin. He says, "Saludos, everyone." And he also
Hey,
he chimes in. He
Alfredo.
says that everyone needs a chance to shine, in the world is a big place, and that's
it's
very,
a big
very
place.
true.
Yes, there is enough for everybody to have their little piece. Um, you know, and like I said, just creativity. You get it all together, man, and it's amazing. It's wonderful. You just the results, man, it's out of this world sometimes.
Yeah, and and to me, it's like, I have these crazy ideas. My producer Ralph Garcia, who produced both of my CDs, and he's actually one of the musicians with Aviso as well. Played keyboards, for over 40 years. Him and Robert Durante started that deal, and he's a producer, and he's got his own studio, Ralph's Music Factory, as well, where everything gets recorded. And I say Portocito because we're good buddies. I mean, if we don't text each other once a day, something's wrong, you know. But I would text him at 3 o'clock in the morning and give him, "Hey, I got this idea." He's like, "Dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning." But he's that type of person too that's awake at 3 o'clock sometimes because he wakes in the middle of the night and then he goes back to
Yeah.
bed. So some people are like that. But that's what I knew in my head. Hey, he's up. Send him a message or whatever. And then I would get the, well, wait till the morning or no. You know what I mean? So just depending on the mood and stuff. But it's fun for me to come up with idea and then have somebody be a part of it and then make that idea come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alfredo says that Ralph Garcia recorded, excuse me, recorded Ali's vocals in
Yes.
Houston for Mi
Yeah.
Fascinación.
Yep. Yeah, he's
Yes,
Awesome.
doing a
so
lot of good stuff coming out of that studio right there, and I'm glad, I'm proud. We got a other couple of other projects that are coming out of there, and of course, he does all the Aviso stuff as well, arranges and mixes and does all that, and gets everybody in there to do their parts. So he's a very talented, he's a musical genius to me because he plays a lot of instruments as well. He just doesn't play keyboards. He
Mhm.
plays the bajo. He plays the good bass. He plays the accordion. Or the guitar. So he does a lot as well as just the keyboards. So he's a
Yeah.
pretty big factor there.
yeah, and
That's
that's
awesome.
and that's good to have the connections with people that are workhorses and they work together and stuff like that. Those are the things that we don't we should never overlook. These people that are willing to work with us and to elevate our game. And what I mean by elevate our game is really just to help us level up together, because it's all a collaboration. In reality, we have to
Hmm.
work together, and working together, it's just simply it, I don't see it as competition. I have a lot of radio stations, the internet radio stations that I help. Now, I have a tenuous situation, considering that I'm sitting at 100,000 listeners, and last year I had 100,000 listeners at this time, September. I didn't reach 100,000 listeners. That's why I said I wouldn't say that. I was at 98. I had 98,000 listeners, but I'm still not. I don't consider people my competition. I know that they are doing similar things, but I don't see them doing exactly the same thing as me. But I just say, hey, you know what? If we can't help each other out, then we're not helping the industry at all.
Yeah, yeah,
And so,
exactly.
really, they're going to do their own thing. They're going to do it their way. And so, I don't really see them technically as competitors, because even though we're kind of doing a similar thing, I really don't see them as anything different. I'd rather just help them do something that's good, and
Yeah.
be just as good, and if not better than me. And I applaud them for trying, because it is what it is, and
Hmm.
I kind of take it as a compliment for them to reach out to me to ask me for help because of that, because we are successful. Hilda and I,
Hmm.
we take great pride in our show and the fact that we have standards. We do play everybody's music. We do have our integrity that we hold, that we adhered to and we hold dear, and that's what we do.
And that's good, like I said, because you're doing your thing, and other people are learning off of that, and you're not afraid to say, hey, I'll help you if you need help, or ask me questions, or whatever it may be. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll
Oh
show
no, no, I can't do it. No.
I can
You
show
gotta do
you, or
something for yourself.
you know,
Yeah,
uh,
Alfredo says he was in awe of Ali's vocals. Wow, I'm in
she's
awe of Ali.
amazing.
She's 12, man.
Yeah,
She's 12. She's singing like she's 30.
yeah,
Anybody's in awe of Ali's vocals.
yeah, yeah, exactly. She did pretty good. I got to see some of that session there, and it was like, wow, you know, and
Oh.
it's good to, yeah, it's good to see that, because once again, a lot of these artists, and these new artists that I really enjoy watching them, and I'm excited to see what they're going to come up with next, because
Hmm.
it's kind of like, okay, you wanna do this, and you're not going to get rich at it. You're not going to be a star overnight. It takes a lot of work,
Yeah.
and honestly, you're going to really only be as big as the fan base that you can build. You know,
Right.
you're there's no right now there is no Taylor Swifts in Tejano music. You know, we're all here enjoying the music, and spreading what our creations are, our artistry, our work, and the people that love it, they get on the bandwagon, and it's great, because once
Hmm.
again, if somebody likes what you're doing, then that's the whole reason why you're doing it. You
Yeah.
know, the
And
idea,
but I mean, there's still plenty of room for growth. There's still plenty of room for us to do what we do.
yes,
And then not only that, this people sit there and may have a misconception of what Tejano music is, but let's be clear. Tejano music is not just here in Texas. I think one of the problems that we run into, and especially when I sit there and talk to people about Tejano music, they still have, some of them have a misconception. Some of them believe that Tejano music is a small little bubble, and it's not. It's not just centralized in Texas. It sure as hell is not centralized in San Antonio. I
yeah,
mean, look at what's happening in the Mexican Fiesta right now in Milwaukee.
right,
Look at all the hundreds of thousands of people that are just in one location,
yes,
much less anywhere else. Go to
Hmm.
Monterrey and watch them go and show up to a Mexican concert, and I'm in contact with some people down there, and getting people on the air, and doing stuff like that. It's not the microcosm that people think that it is. It's not. Secondly, my my radio station, I have the demographics that show 137 countries. 137 countries listen to my radio station. 137 countries. Okay, 100,000 people from 137 countries listen to it.
you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I, you know, I know I made that mistake before when I sit there and I said, wait a minute, in Milwaukee, wait, what? There's no Mexicans up in Milwaukee. There was like what, Prince and Kirby Puckett, and that was
Yeah,
it, and they're both dead, you know. But they're everywhere.
there are a lot of Chicanos everywhere too.
They're everywhere. So that's a huge misconception, and it doesn't ring true. La Leona Promotions is in the house.
Leona,
Hello.
yes.
Yeah, what's that? Labra Science. Yeah.
Hi, Laura.
How
How you
you
doing?
doing, Laura? And thank you very much for joining us, girlfriend. Yes, but that's the misconception, and a lot of people, it goes back to just the microcosms or not the bubble that we live in. I remember that time when uh, the 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 senior reporter from ABC News, what's her name, Katie Couric, she was interviewing Ricky Martin when his song "She Bangs" came out,
Yeah.
and she asked him, she goes, "How exciting is it for you that your first show in New York at Madison Square Garden sold out?" And he looks at her like, "Huh? I sold out Madison Square Garden like 65 times because he was with Menudo, but because she lives in this little bubble,
Right.
did not know who he was, she thought it was his first time."
Right. Right.
And you
And
know
it's
what? And it just keeps growing and expanding. And proof of that is Grupo Frontera. And I know everybody's kind of like on this whole, are they, aren't they, whatever. I think sometimes we make it too complicated to where we're trying to define a genre. But there really is no defining it,
we had this conversation,
because
didn't we?
yeah, it's one of these things. I mean, because then you get artists like Carla Cristina who records a bolero, which I mean,
Right.
is that really Tejano? No, I mean, it could be. I mean, it's what is the answer? There is no answer. It's
Yeah.
music, and music
Yeah.
just transcends all of these different boundaries and lines, and it brings us together, and that really, to me, is the most important part. I mean, is it Tejano? Well, it depends on
It's
who you ask,
Yeah, and it's
but
got the flavor of it, but it's not, and it's whatever it is.
Exactly, and you can't really say, well, it's of Mexican descent. Well, yes and no. I mean, then you've got artists like Adasa, who is not a Mexican American; she's Colombian. You've
Hmm.
got Gabriela Martinez, who again is not Mexican; she's Colombian también. So really, it's like everyone's trying to pinpoint what the Hano music is instead of just kicking back, enjoying it, and coming along for the ride. Because in
Right.
my opinion, you've got Grupo Frontera, who did amazing by putting this big spotlights on our culture, on our music.
Exactly.
And instead of embracing that, there's a lot of people who are like, no, they're so far from Tejano. But are they really?
But I mean, they were able to get the Hano mentioned, just with their performances and stuff about from people that would normally say that. You know what I
Now
mean?
you've
Yeah.
got,
And that's a plus right
Carol
there.
G. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got Carol G, a major artist, major international artist, saying, "Hey, my latest single was inspired by, Tejano music," and
Yeah.
you hear the influences. So it's like, I think sometimes as Latinos, as Tejanos, we tend to shoot our own foot off
Exactly.
because we're so
I,
hell
I,
bent
I think
on
also,
categorizing things. And
yeah,
why?
I think it's a little self-segregating as well. It's kind
Yes.
of
Yes.
self-segregating and stuff like that. Real quickly, Alfredo asked, "Do you
Yeah.
read music, Joe?"
So I don't read notes, but I can read some sheet music, as far as the chords and stuff, because I learned everything by ear. That's how I played. And I think
Okay, so
that's
you're the do re mi guy, huh? So
yeah.
you're like, "Hey, vamos a tocar en el do,
Yeah.
en la
I'm the guy
do."
who says, what are you going to play? And let me hear it a couple of times and I'll get it. And that's it.
What's the
Okay.
chord progression?
Yeah.
What's
And
One,
the
four,
yeah,
five. Let's go.
yeah, and it's not even that, it's like, hey, let me hear the song, or let me hear what you're
Yeah.
gonna play, and then I'll get it. I'll pick it up.
I'm the
So
guy that goes with this. She's singing in the key of she's in B flat, bro. She's in B flat, so we're gonna do all chords in B flat. And
yeah,
people look at me like, okay,
yeah,
do fa si la ti do fa fa fa. We're in fa, okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And it's
No, it's really complicated. You can
yeah.
get really off into that, and then
Mm.
and as a guitar player too, the pentatonic scales and all these other scales, and and it's like, what happened to just simple old guitar? You know what I mean? But
Right.
Tejano music has a lot of jazz in it. The
Hmm.
chords progressions are jazzy,
Mm.
so of course you better start learning some jazz, because that's you don't got to play it like Herbie Hancock or anybody, like Miles Davis.
Foundations.
Yeah, but get it close, and it's
Yeah.
good, and that's why I think a little bit my style is still on both sides of the fence, and it kind of works together with each other, because I think some of my style with the bluesy stuff complements the style with the Tejano stuff, and vice versa. So I think that's why it works for me. You know.
Mhm.
Mando Loco chimes in. He says Carol G did a Tejano song as well. So
Yeah, she did.
there you go. And Alfredo, he says, yeah, he also learned to play by ear and self taught.
Yes, self-taught.
I am not self taught, but I was urgent taught. So it's like, when you're the sound engineer and a musician is too drunk to play. Hey, bro, play it like this.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
play.
I can tell you a little short story really quick there because when I started playing out, my brothers play music. I got four brothers, and three of us play music, or we're musicians. And my older brother, well, he's just the older brother, but
He's just the older
He's
brother.
just the older brother.
yeah. So my brothers, when I was at a young age, I think I was like maybe 10, 11, and back at that age, you're not thinking of music at that age, but it's around you. You know what I mean? Like the
Mhm.
hunter music's always been around me. I've heard it. I just didn't pay that much attention to it. My uncles would go to I lived up north for a little bit, and my uncles would go to each other's house on the weekend, my tios. So, what did you hear? Carlos Guzman, Los Tigres del Norte. You heard a variety of a lot of that stuff, and Steve Jordan and stuff like that. That's how I learned that music, and it was in my ear as a kid. And of course, it kept coming up and kept coming up, and but my brothers, to get back to that, they had instruments down in the basement. They had the drums, the guitar, the bass, and everything they could have down there, and I wasn't allowed to touch it,
Oh wow.
because I was the little guy. I was the little brother. I was gonna mess something up, and
You're gonna
you know
break
how,
it.
yeah. So when they would leave, then I'd go downstairs and I start messing with the stuff, and little by little, I learned how to play, keep a beat, or do a little things like that and stuff. And one day, I was down there messing around, and I was on the drums because I originally started playing drums first, and then
Wow.
I heard a door slam, and I heard two people come running down the stairs, and I thought, that's it, I'm over now. My brothers caught me playing with their musical instruments. I'm dead. And they come down there and they look and they're like, "Well, who's down here playing?" And I was like, "What do you mean, who's down here playing? I'm the only one down here." So was that you that was doing that? And I said, "What were you doing?" And I just showed them, and then the next thing you know, they picked up the guitar and the bass, and here we go. We're jamming together. And then, I got really good at this because now they decided, hey, little brother can actually play something. So they would have these little shows with their friends, parties in the backyards and stuff. And they had their own drummer. And then after a while, they would call me, hey, let my little brother come play because he plays it better than you anyway. So let him do that. So that's how I actually got in, really started back into the music. And then, of course, I was introduced to Jimi Hendrix, and it was all over with.
Hmm. Purple haze. No, just
Yeah. So, which
Alfredo says,
I do have that song. I have Voodoo Child on my CD.
Voodoo Child. Alfredo Rio says, I was one of those kids standing in front of the stage, dreaming of being on stage one day. I'll share a little story with you. I was talking to Baldo Munoz, famous drummer from back in the day with Los Casinos and with Los Fabulosos Cuatro and a lot of bands back in the 60s and 70s. And he said that when he got his drums, he didn't know how to play it. His dad bought him a drum set. He didn't know how to play it. So what he would do is he would sneak into the bar, and he was like 14, 15 years old. He would sneak in and he would watch the drummers and watch how they played it, and then he would stay there until they kicked him out, and then he'd go home and practice,
Yeah,
and he'd practice what he saw
yeah,
on stage, and that's how
Wow.
he learned how to play drums. I mean, that's love and dedication on your instrument and everything else. Alfredo says about my grandson a set of drums, and he counts off to start to play. It's the cutest thing ever.
yeah.
One, two, two.
And that's what you want to do. You want to inspire them at a young age, because
he's
that's
he's
that's
two and
like
a half. He's
yeah.
Ellie's little brother. He's 2.5 years old.
You
Wow.
let them do it. You let them do it.
Yeah.
You put it there in front of them, and like I did the same with my kids. I bought musical equipment, and I put it there, and I said, okay, you want to play video games? That's fine, but come check this out, and they would mess with it. They learn their stuff, and one of my sons actually plays guitar and stuff. But he's trying to be a lawyer now, so he's taking the better route probably.
Right. I think it'll pay more.
Yeah, it'll definitely play a lot more. But I never really forced them to do stuff. Like I said, just pick it up. And like I did, I heard what my
Uh-huh.
brothers were doing. And then, like you said, when they were gone, I would go in there and practice what they were doing. Because I didn't know, to get on the radio and look for music. I
Yeah.
didn't know to go, search anybody. I just remember certain things, and I can tell you that I remember one of my brothers had a vanilla um Stratocaster, you know, and a big Marshall. I mean, not Marshall, but a Fender amp with a silver face. And right there, it was like Jimmy. He was practicing doing Jimi Hendrix stuff, and I'm like, wow,
Wow.
that's what I want to do now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I got out of the drums and started playing the guitar, and then
A vanilla one. Who else had a vanilla
I
Stratocaster?
think it's a vanilla color. It's kind of like
Did it? Was it stringed upside down?
no, it was a regular Stratocaster.
Just yeah, because
It
just wondering who else had a vanilla one.
No,
Just
no, it's more
stringed
of
up,
they call it an off-white vanilla-ish color, I think.
just
But
string.
Interesting.
back in
Uh,
the 70s, that was pretty popular.
I was
And
just wondering why it was so popular back in the '70s, stringed upside down, because he was a left-handed player.
yeah, yeah,
Not that I know of anybody that could play a Fender Stratocaster
upside
upside
down.
down
Yeah,
vanilla.
nobody but Jimmy.
It's Jimmy. That was what Jimi Hendrix played.
Yeah,
It's just, but that was just sorry. I had to bring
that's
back that
okay.
old Jimmy
Too
reference.
much. But yeah,
Anyway,
that's it. And that's how things get rolling. You get impressionated, and boom, there you go.
yeah, definitely. Now,
Yeah.
my first hint with you was actually how you sit there and uh, uh, I saw you, and I even asked you about it when I interviewed you there at the radio gala. You did a music video with a really good friend of mine, Demi Garcia.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. I love her to death. And she's just a talent amongst herself. But she didn't actually perform. She just appeared in
Yes,
your video,
she
which is
was.
she's
She was the love interest in the video.
love interest in the video, but it's what it's really it's an interesting it's a great video. I loved it. It
Thank
caught
you.
my eye because I was like, that's Demi in there, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I just came across because I get a bunch of stuff all the time. I'm always getting stuff, and I saw that and I was like, hey, that's Demi, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see anything, so I sent her a text, and she didn't respond, but I watched it and I was like, oh wow. Alfredo was like, it's natural talent that one is born with. I had no one to teach me, so I had to teach myself.
yeah,
And my first song I learned was La Bamba.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
yeah. It does take some talent, but also it takes a lot of initiative, and it
Yes,
takes a lot of
practice.
dedication. Because if you don't
Yeah.
have that dedication to attain yourself, I know when I learned to play the guitar, I had to practice a lot. It's a lot of practice because
Yes,
Hmm.
it's very
memory.
formulaic. It's a lot of learning, and you have to toughen your fingers. I know I can't play it right now. My fingers are way too soft. The one instrument that I do know that you can play immediately like a professional is the piano, because an A is an A, whether you're a professional or a novice. Now, once you get your fingers, the dexterity correct, then you're good to go. But the sound is still the same. So, but I mean, it does take talent. It takes practice. But that's with anything. If you practice enough,
Yeah.
you're good.
I
And
used
that's with
to.
all instruments, including your vocals.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You got to work your vocals out and stuff like that. And I used to I can remember sitting in front of a stereo, them old realistic stereos that back in the day with the two big speakers and the cassette player in there. And I would be instead of running around sometimes when in the nighttime, like you should have been with your friends. I was sitting there playing my guitar, learning Carlos Santana licks and stuff like that, and rewinding and playing and rewinding and playing, rewinding. And people was like, "Man, stop it already! You're gonna break it." I was like, that's how you got to learn. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? You
Yeah.
know, you
Mhm.
couldn't just go on YouTube and look now. How does
Uh-huh.
that?
Right.
Pull it up. No, you had to really learn. The guitar. You had to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
So,
Back in the day when before where it was the combo unit, where it was a TV, the record
yes,
player, the cassette player, and the the
A
the,
track.
the 8-track player all together, where they didn't steal your TV because it took like two people to move the damn thing from
Right.
one corner to the other. So they didn't steal your TV back then because it was too heavy.
I was, back then, I was young and I didn't have money to go buy stuff. I had only one parent in my life, so my mom always worked hard, but we had to work for what we wanted. And I had a little cheap pawn shop guitar, it didn't even have an amp, but I would get stuff and rig it up and, have a big old speaker. And at one time I had a graphic equalizer hooked up, from a car to a speaker where I could hook my guitar into it just to hear a sound. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I was just listening to it by my ear because I didn't have an amp. But then, I started getting more creative, and getting what do you call these battery chargers and stuff to charge the amp up or just
Yeah, to electrify it.
Yeah, it's
yeah, that's
amazing how creative you can get when you really, really,
yeah,
really want to accomplish something. Because
Out of
I can
me,
so relate to that story. I mean, I remember being in middle school and high school, and I was glued to VH1 Behind the Music, and I would just eat that stuff up. So while everybody else was watching Full House and all these other like little sitcom comedies, I was glued to VH1 because
yeah,
I was like, I'm going to be a singer and I'm going to be in the industry and I need to know all of this information. And I didn't have access to a recording studio. I'm from a very, very small town. And, nor were my parents going to sit here and say, hey, we're going to support this. No, you're
right,
going to school to be a doctor. Even though growing up, my parents made us all take piano lessons and we were all in bands. So we all play at least one other instrument. But I remember I checked out from the school library a tape recorder that would record, and then another one to where I could play my little karaoke track to it, right? Because they were on CDs.
yeah,
And then I would go to the practice room in the band hall and I would record myself. And that was my demo. That was my very first demo, was in the band hall like that, because I wanted so badly to start performing and sending it out to labels and stuff like that. And it's just amazing how creative you get when you
yeah.
really, really want something
You get
done.
inspired by people, and then you just love the music. So thank God that I had music in my life, because I mean I'm sure I could have went other ways with it, but as far as growing up, on the streets and with friends that half of them, some of them are not around because of the life choices they made, but the music is what stayed with me. And I actually, like you said, now I tear my guitar apart, I change this, I do that, and I'm not
Mhm.
afraid to dig into it now, because it's like I've done it a few times. It's like, I
Mhm.
learned that by not being afraid to go ahead and tinker with stuff. You know what I mean? Uh,
Alfredo says I have two of my 45s recorded back in 1980 in Ali's music room.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
everybody, and it's interesting, the different musical journeys. I started out as a DJ, and I actually DJ'd at a club, like a nightclub. And I'm 15 years old, and I'm mixing and scratching and everything else at a nightclub at 15 years old. And I had grown ass women buying me drinks, trying to take me home.
Trying to take
I'm
trying to
15
take your
years
dollars.
old. I'm serious, trying to take me home. I'm 15 years old. So
And
I had a totally
you
different
didn't go,
experience.
right? You didn't go.
I,
You didn't go, huh?
I was just like, anyway, so I was like, so, so Tejano Bluesman is my first time I encountered you was Tas Loca,
Let's
baby.
look up, baby.
Tas Loca, baby. A wonderful song and a great video. And it features
Demi Garcia. Yes,
Demi
back to Demi.
Garcia. Back to Demi.
And I'll be honest, like that's the song that really like did it for me. That just kind of
Really?
like, yeah. I mean, because a little background on me is I'm a blues singer first and
Yeah,
foremost.
I know we
Before I
talked about
dived
this.
into Tejano or anything else, it was the blues. And so I was like, man, that's just an interesting name, Tejano Bluesman. Like there has to be some blues in there. And that
Yeah.
was the very first song I heard. And I was like, yeah, there's blues there. All right, I'm sold. Like that's all it took.
Thank you. And that was the whole goal as well, to try to, I'm a blues man in heart and I love Tejano music and I live in Texas. And, I thought, well, how can I incorporate them both together where I can try to, how you say, reach more people by,
Mm-hmm.
you know, s- different style of music, because you can put rap in the country, you know,
Yeah.
and they do rock and roll rap, and they do now reggaeton and all that stuff is kind of rappy-ish as well. So, why not put a little blues in Tejano, and plus the Chicanos love it. So,
Yeah, and it definitely has that Randy Garibay kind of vibe to it. And
Yeah,
I was
it's a
like,
good.
man, we need more of that stuff. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really, really
it's a
do.
good it's a good flow. Alfredo says, "Wow, my dad had to chaperone us when we played in the club. We were all teenagers." Yeah, my mom, my mom didn't. She was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going to church to pray."
Está loco.
Yeah. Does that still
He's
work?
pretty different. Yeah,
Está
because I
loco.
was I was in the chapel doing my vespers.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
Back to
Like
Demi.
going to the
Get back
church
to
for a
Demi.
confession.
I'm looking for the lightning bolt coming.
Right.
It's like,
In a minute, it's gonna go out.
I'm waiting
you
for
know,
Gracie to throw that rolling pin.
right? That's local, that's local, baby. From Tejano the Bluesman. Let's go ahead and take a look at the music video, listen to the song here on Kivu Radio. I'm Indio. That's Il de Lamas and the main man himself, the Tejano Bluesman, Joe Villanueva. Well, we'll be right back after this song. Enjoy it. You're going to love it. I guarantee it. Here it goes.
I say that I love you. You say that I don't. I said I'll be yours. You say that I won't. I say that I need you. You say that I don't. I say we get married. You say that we won't. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. I still love you anyway. We're out on the town, everything is alright. As soon as we get home, you wanna fuss and fight. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. I still love you anyway. You text me in the morning, you text me at night. And when I don't answer, you wanna call and fight. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. I still love you anyway. Let me play some blues. I think that you love me, please say that I'm right. I just wanna hold you all day and all night. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. That's loca, baby. I still love you anyway. I still love you, baby. That's loca.
There you have it. There you have it. That's loca, baby.
I still laugh when I see that video. It just blows my mind, because I don't I don't know if I don't dream these things up sometimes, but it just when they're in real life, it's like wow, you know, you know.
Bobby Castaneda from California. Hey, everyone. I'm a fan
Hey,
of Joe.
Thank
Bobby.
Nice.
you, Bobby. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
nice strat. Nice strat. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Yeah.
number one right there. That
Yeah.
blue
Fellow,
strat is pretty famous. I think it's taking more pictures with people than I have.
That's a badass gem right there.
He is right
Yeah.
there in that video, right there in that poster as well.
Yeah. 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 And it's, you know what? And Demi's not bad to look at either, man.
Oh
She's,
no, Demi's so great. I'm so fortunate that I ran across her path. Well, we ran across each other's paths, and we're still good friends now. I message her at least once a week, to see how she's doing. And when I came up with the new CD, I already knew is like before the song selections and everything. It's like, who do I want to really work with? But like I said, once you pick a song, it's like, okay, who's going to fit those shoes? So just because I picked this one song doesn't mean automatically this person is going to fit those shoes,
right.
because
Yeah.
you have to move on or go on, and see, and then I got, like I said, Ralph Garcia's, he's the little voice or the devil on my shoulder telling me no, or, yeah, or this may work, or, because I trust in his judgment as well, because he's been around much longer than I have. So, but there was no doubt, when we got Demi in there, and it's like, wow, and once again, I'm so fortunate that she's a good friend of mine. We
Now,
hang out, we act crazy, we what do you say? When we do shows with Aviso, because she does sing with Aviso as well sometimes, and then we're at the same show because I'm on their stage and she's over there doing her part, and it's fun. We have fun. We act crazy, and it's like we feed off of each other, electricity wise, and everything is like, you know, it's just great, and it's like when you leave, it's like, I can't wait to see you again, because we have such a great time. So
Yeah.
Bobby asked who were Joe's influences on for the blues guitar.
for the blues guitar, number one, Stevie Ray Vaughan first.
Stevie Ray, yeah.
Yeah, I
Stevie Ray, man, he's just somebody. I got to see him in Austin, and he's just incredible and
yeah.
an amazing person, talent wise, and just I mean, very a man of very little words. He smoked a ton when I saw him. That's all he did was just smoke, put his cigarette down, or he'd put it in his mouth and just start playing. He wouldn't hardly say anything,
Yeah,
and so.
I was fortunate too. I got to see him here in Houston back in the late '80s, early '80s, whenever it was. I won't show my age, but anyway. But yeah, and it just blew my mind away, and of course, I grew up with Jimi Hendrix and BB King and Albert King and Albert Collins, and a lot of those really. Um, I call them down home guitar players because they're from somewhere, and they were literally sitting on the porch playing blues, and
Yeah.
that's how they learn. And plus they all got the feeling. And I mean, there's still a lot of cats now too, like the even Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Phil. I don't know if you heard of Philip Sace. He's an incredible guitar player, and a blues player. And then there's this other dude that I've talked to a couple of days ago. I think his name is Tyrone Vaughn.
Tyrone Vaughn. No, I haven't heard.
I don't know.
Uh,
I think my favorite blues guitarist right now is probably Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, Joe Bonamassa is,
He's a monster
you
player.
know,
So
I
amazing.
think I think one of the things you guys are pointing out, some of these musicians, for people that don't know their names, they're not show guitarists as far as, oh, try to impress you with all their mini licks and everything else.
yeah,
They actually play the note with intention.
yeah,
You know,
feeling, yeah,
yeah,
that's
with feeling.
Yeah. Everything about the blues is
Yeah,
is all about feel. It's not
yeah.
about, oh, let me see how many notes I can fit in here. It's more of
right,
Right.
like,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
what
not
am
it's
I
not just
feeling?
they're
And
not slamming on the note. They're actually playing, or they're feeling
it's
it through.
emoting
Yeah.
emotion. Like
Right. There
it's
you go.
it's
It's kind of hard
expression
to explain
and
because some people, they all they want to hear is and it's not
Yeah,
that. It's
how
there's
many notes
actually
can
a
you fit? Yeah,
yeah, it's actually an emotion, and it's a feeling that they're emoting. Janie
yeah.
says Demi is a beautiful, young, talented lady. Yes, I do concur that she
yes.
is a beautiful, young,
Yes.
talented lady. Bobby is asking what influences for the Tejano
Tejano
guitar.
music. Wow, there's so many Tejano guitarists that I'm in wow of, because um you know it's a different style of music that you play with Tejano music, and like me playing the blues and rock and stuff. it's a totally different beast, you know. And I think that the Tejano music is really, how you say, you got to be really not dedicated, but you really got to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Um, I can't even think of it right now. You just got to really practice it, and you really got to know what they're doing, you know, to learn all the scales and to learn all the progressions and all the as like there's the guitar player and I can't remember his name for the romanza, and
Hmm.
I love the way he plays guitar and the way he goes into the chord progressions and the blues style. I mean, not the blues style, but the jazz style. You know, so I don't know if I have one. You know, Vic Nash. You know, he played. I love the way his sound
Yeah.
is. He's really smooth. You know, he's got a smooth jazzy sound, but he's right in that pocket, you know, and he slips things in there, and that's what I'm talking about. When they're in there and they're playing, and you hear these extra notes that come in there, but they fit. You know, it isn't like they're trying to hit 100 notes at
Mhm.
one time. It's just this jazz chord that sounds so great, and then boom, they add a little something to it, and it's amazing. You know, so I don't think there's really any one Tejano guitar player because I like listening to all of them because I feel like I learn a lot from that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just asked Rick, who is the guitar player for Romance? Miro Valdez.
Yes, yes,
Rick like, knows everything. He's my
yeah,
husband, but he's like, oh, he actually used to
yeah.
produce Romance like back in the day. So
Back in
man.
the
I mean,
day,
but
there you
yeah.
go.
it's guitar players like that, you know, that really I listen to and they catches my ear. I was like, wow, you know, how did they do that? Or
Mm.
you know, you got to learn that how that happens. You know what I mean? And
There's a that's I mean, but that's really I mean, if you appreciate like for me, you have to understand like, as Spanish was never my first language, and so when I hear Tejano music, I hear the music first.
yeah,
The lyrics always come second.
yes,
The vocals, I hear the vocals. Don't get me wrong, I don't omit them. I do hear them, and I understand how they correlate. I understand music, obviously, but uh, I translate the lyrics later after I've long since deciphered the song. But I hear the music and its compilation first, and I hear the different instruments and everything else, and I certain things grab me. The way people play things. I've always been a fan of like Tente Barrera, the way he plays the
yes,
drums.
yes.
He's
You can
got a.
tell.
You can tell him. Este, Joey Sanchez, he's just impeccable on the drums as well. He's somebody that's just so far out there. I
Aaron
mean,
Holler.
there's yeah, Aaron Holler as
Yeah.
well.
I think my favorite Tejano drummer though, Ernest Reese. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember him
Yeah,
from
Yes,
Los Chatos back in the day.
yeah, yeah.
Just wow, just mind blowing when you hear him play. I mean, because he would
And with the
from
limited amount,
the
yeah,
to
with
the
what he
percussion.
had,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
but with what he had, that's another thing you have to understand. The time frame, they didn't have the availability of all these different sounds. They
yes,
were able to create the sound with a
Mhm.
limited accessibility to the instrument. When you're able to create, like okay, like you were talking about BB King. What did he play on? Right? I
yeah,
mean, compare that to now.
Yeah.
They didn't
yeah,
have wah wah paddles and shit
yeah.
back
Three
then.
thirty five.
Know?
You know what? You know, and it just like you said, it's the innovation of the craft. Because honestly, if you go back and you listen to and this is something that I know because I'm a guitar player, but you go back and listen to early Steve Jordan
Right,
on the accordion.
Mhm.
He wasn't
right.
playing straight accordion. He was playing with a flanger, you know, a
Hmm.
flanger
Yeah.
pedal, which is a guitar pedal. But he said, "Let me try this to get this sound." And now you know when you hear still Steve Jordan playing, you know who it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. Because that says Ernie Ruiz was awesome. There
He
you go.
was awesome. And just fun fact, my very first band that I ever sang in, it was his band, and it was a band called Five, and it was a cover band there in Corpus Christi. And that's when I really started learning more about, Tejano music because him and my husband were both in the industry at the time. I'm a late comer to Tejano. But it was because of those influences, and that's where I met Vic Nash. He actually wrote a few songs for us to go into the studio and record. God, this was back like 2004, 2005. And so I got a great education playing with like all of these old school Tejano musicians that they don't just play Tejano. Like that's the cool
Yeah,
part is that they're so talented, much like yourself that, you can just kind of transcend genres and just go for it. And it's, I know for Lawrence, it's always, what's going on musically in the song. For me, it's the feel. What does it feel like?
Yeah,
Before I even focus on the instrumentation or the vocals, it's the feel, then the vocals.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just, if it doesn't feel right, I'll just shut it off. It's just not worth
Yeah.
listening to.
Well,
The
I've
accordion.
heard people say that, like people hear it differently. There's the Tejano D right there. He just got on, my singer.
Hey,
So,
Tano D.
but you
Where are
hear,
you, brother? You're supposed to be here earlier. Just kidding.
yeah, right.
No,
Send
Alfredo
him
says the
the,
accordion in a conjunto music is so different, all different chords. That's why what gives conjunto music
yeah,
its sound. This is
exactly.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Anyway.
think as musicians, and singers, everybody hears their part first.
Hmm.
I mean, I know when I hear a song, like you said, it's got to catch me first. The first 10, 15 seconds got to
Mhm.
catch me. If that catches me, then the first thing I start listening to is the guitar parts. But that's
Yeah.
just my ear. That's just the way I do. And then, like you said, then I listen to the words later or whatever. It's like because there's some songs that I'm like, do you even know what that means or what they're saying? I'm like, I thought it was about this. No, they're talking about that. I'm like, I like
Yeah,
music. Though.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that with Grace. I'm like, hey, Grace, man, check out this love song. And then she's listening to it and she's like, that's not a love song. And I was like, she said amor like 5 times. And she's like, that is, you're way off. Not even close. And I'm like, damn it. Let me go back and listen again.
Yeah, and you're right, and you got to go back and do that, and that's what happens. It's like, wow, I thought they said this, but apparently not.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And it's a, what do they call it? Doble sentido. Where they say one thing, but they mean something else.
yes, yeah,
Mhm.
Dang it, you guys, you do that all the time. Get
Yeah.
ready,
yeah,
And
get ready to bed. I'm an old man.
yeah.
He's like,
He gets up early. He gets up like 3 o'clock in the morning to go downtown to work and stuff, and so
ouch.
oh,
so he
okay.
goes to bed early, and if unless he's texting me or we're talking about something, he's out. He's like, don't mess with me, you know, which I know because I need sleep too, but I don't get no sleep, so I know how that is, but
Alfredo says, being from North Cal, I was able to listen to Tejano. My older sister had lots of Tejano albums. This is back from the early
Oh wow.
'70s, and you know what? I've gotten a re-education in Tejano music, especially the progression. I am working right now on a Tejano series of Tejano legends. I've been interviewing a lot of Tejano legends. You mentioned several of them, like Carlos Guzman and Rene, and I've interviewed all of these people, los casinos, los uh, 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 anyway, I've interviewed a lot of people from back in the early '60s and '70s, and I'm still interviewing these people and getting their story.
yeah,
And because their story needs to be told, and these guys, they have interesting stories, and you know they're how they started, and they all have similar tales, but it's very interesting. I found a common thread. A lot of them were military people such as myself. They were veterans and stuff, and so, but it's a re-education, a reaffirmation of what music is, and and how it affects other people. And it's
yeah,
it's wonderful. Music, like I said, is eternal, and it's wonderful to have that connection with other people. Their music is from the 60s and 70s, and it's also very progressive for the times. Back then it wasn't Tejano music, it was Chicano music. Back then
yeah,
it became Tejano music because of the fact that we call it Tejano music, but in reality, it's always been Chicano music. It's the only reason it was Tejano music is because most of the people that were playing it were from Texas.
Texas, yeah,
That's why they were calling it Tejano music, but it's really Chicano music, and that's why Ilda is right when she says, "Do we really need to brand it anything? It should just be music,
yeah,
and just leave it as is." So, real quick, let's get this song out of the way. Demi did work with you on one song on your
yes.
new album. This one's called Tonto. So, what was the thought process behind this
I
song?
think she was talking about me. I think she was talking about me, and you know, it just was. Once again, I hear things, and I'm a big, and I get influenced easily by certain artists or any artist, basically, and then the lights go off in my head, and then I'm like, okay, I really want to do this song or whatever. And then there we go. And then once again, I got to find the right shoe that fits it, and it's not that easy. But it's with Demi. It seems like I could, we can make the what do they call that showbiz pizza song, back in the day, and she'll kill it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So she's very talented. But once we got her on there and got her in there, and it's like honestly, there's nobody else that could have did that. You know what I mean? Because she gives it her all and herself, and there you go. She's just amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Alfredo says, as a kid, I've seen Tejano Legend in a small town in Cali, Dixon, California. They came to our town quite often. Mas, Freddy Martinez, Carlos Miranda, Agustin
Carlos Miranda.
Ramirez. Yeah, Carlos Miranda. Yeah, Freddy Martinez is the one that I'm supposed to interview next. He's had some health problems, so I haven't had a
Okay.
chance to. But I will be putting that out there not too long from now. Hopefully, I can get as many as I can, so that way I can put it out to the world. It's my gift from me to the world because I believe their story should be told. I'm not selling it. I'm just collecting it because I don't believe that that's something that should be
they're
held back.
they're great stories. Yeah, they're great stories
Mhm.
Yeah.
that people need to hear. And
Yeah.
if you don't pull them out, nobody is going to ask. But maybe they tell their kids or their grandchildren and stuff like that. And you learn a lot. You
Oh
learn a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went into a studio one. I went to Gilbert Velasquez studio, and with Aviso, and they were doing some stuff and some work, and then he started talking about some history and stuff, and I was more interested in what he had to say about history and Tejano music and San Antonio and stuff. It's like I didn't want him to continue. I wanted him to finish, because
Yeah.
it was very interesting. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's really what I got. I got some people who've written songs, from the 60s and 70s. Like I'll share this nugget with you. There's one singer from the 60s, and he's maybe 85 years old, and he was a singer, and I'm not going to name his name, but he wrote a song, and I said, "What's your favorite song that you wish would have made a hit that didn't make it a hit?" And he says, "Actually, that's a song I wrote 2 years ago." And I was like, "Really?" And he wrote it for his wife who passed away.
Aww.
Okay, and he sang the song for us. Now, when I interviewed him at a restaurant. It was myself, my wife, him, two waitresses, and the busboy that were in the room, and he sang it for us. His voice was beautiful, okay? And everyone in the room cried.
that's awesome.
That's how awesome
Wow.
that song was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I have it on I have it
You recorded
recorded.
it.
I
That's
have
good.
it recorded in full high definition, the whole 9 yards, and
Nice.
it's just beautiful. But capturing those moments and stuff like that, where
Mhm.
they're deep moments, and I can see them where they flash back to their childhood,
Hmm.
where they think about their moms, when they think about their first time on stage. All of that, I have all of that on as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and listen to Tonto featuring Demi Garcia and the Tejano Bluesmen. All right, goes like this. I love that song. Alfredo says, love the song, and that's why I love Tejano so much. Flavor, awesome. That's right, Alfredo. It's an awesome song. And
Hmm.
you know that I picked that song because of the fact that it's smooth rhythm and its
Yeah,
Hmm.
transitions. The bridge is awesome, and you just there's a lot there, and also it's not too much.
yes,
Sometimes, especially in this day and era, we want to put so much in there. We want to fill the frame,
yeah,
and it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be. Sometimes music, well, every time music has to breathe. You got to let it breathe. Don't just step on it. You
yeah.
got to let it breathe, brother. You got to let it breathe. And
That's
that's
why you when you play the blues is the same way. You know, you
Yeah.
can play a few. Look at BB King. You know, a few notes and you know you're hooked. You know, you're in. You know what's going on. You know
mhm,
the direction it's going. So you know you
yeah,
don't need 100 notes. You don't need
right.
simplicity, and so people can
Mhm.
enjoy it. You know,
Mhm.
put a few little surprises in there, and you know people love it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Less is more.
the nostalgic vibe, all I kept thinking about was back in the day, dancing across all the people gliding across a dance floor.
yes, yes,
Ba, da, 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 da,
yeah.
it's just,
Rob
you
Garcia
know,
is the one that arranged that.
yeah.
And it actually it strays a little bit from the original version, you know,
Mhm,
because when I first heard it, I'm like, this is nothing where what I thought we were going with it, but okay, you know, and it's just be patient, just be patient. I said, okay,
Hmm.
let's go. So then, you know, once we started getting in the studio and doing this and doing that, and the idea started really getting into it, the tracks were coming out, like, okay, now I hear it, you know. So it's just an amazing song, you know. Once again, um, I did think that I wanted to do another. Like the first one I did with Demi was "Queremos Juntos," uh,
mhm,
and you know that's an Al Green song. Uh,
right.
and I thought about that as well. I said, you know, I would like to try to do another type of song like that as well. But then, you know, once again, the way I see it is, if I'm gonna do a song like that, I really want it to stay close and true to the original song.
Hmm.
Don't go too far because people start saying, "Well, why did you sing that in there?" Because that's not even what they meant, or you know, some of the translation gets lost,
Yeah.
and that's what I didn't want to do with the Queremos
Kind of
Juntos.
hard to
But
get lost with Al Green, though.
no, it
I'm
is. But,
so
you know,
in love with you.
and Demi did a great job. We had a really good translator that she got the words perfect the way I liked them, and you know, the rest is history. But um, yeah, I mean, Demi's amazing.
Yeah. And then you did a cover with a good friend of mine, Madison Polido,
Yeah,
and she did the Desvelado song, which is just something you know, that's you took her to a different spot. A lot of people have been pushing her to keep her into this little girl kind of spot, and you really brought her out into into a full woman mode,
yeah,
and it really sounds good, which I really do appreciate. Alfredo says, "Do a song with Ali," and that would be a voice.
yeah,
That would be Ali
Hmm.
in bluesy Tejano. Wow, that would be
yeah.
something.
And I can hear that. Yeah,
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 definitely.
yeah. You know, I made a good friends with Madison and her mom, and you know, we met a while back in Dallas, and I saw her, you know, and I saw what she was doing, but it was like, you know, we weren't friends then. You know, I just knew of her, she knew of me, and then we actually finally met because we were, you know, liking each other's stuff on Facebook and stuff, and then you know, like, well, hopefully I get to see you one day or finally meet, you know. So we had to go out of Houston to go meet, but we did in Dallas, and we finally met, and we made a friendship, you know, and then you know things went on. She's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing and stuff, and then you know, um, I thought, well, Desvelado was pretty hot, you know, because everybody was doing their rendition of it, you know, on TikTok. It's everywhere, you know, and everybody was doing that. But it really wasn't my first choice, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but I thought, well, you know, to help her as well, because that's really all I'm basically trying to do with these artists is trying to help them furthermore in their career. So I said, well, you know, if we do a song, let's do a tribute to Bobby, and we'll do Desvelado, and then you know we'll see about incorporating him in it some way somehow, whatever we got to do to get him to notice it, you know, and at least acknowledge that, you know, whatever. Um, so and once again. I didn't want to do something that she was used to doing, like on her CD with her producer. That's the good thing about moving on to another producer or something, especially if you're what do you call it, showcasing your voice, because that new producer will bring something out of you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and Ralph pretty much that's exactly what happened. She went in there, and you could tell that she was practiced. She was ready, and she added her little flavor to the song. You hear it, you hear what she added to it. And once again, her voice isn't the like her CD. It's a little poppy-ish or whatever you call it, younger voice. It's more of a mature voice on this. And it was amazing. And fast forward, we were able to go to Bobby's show. We got backstage, we gave him the song and everything. We're still waiting for a response, Bobby, but anyway. And it wasn't it wasn't anything like we wanted anything from him, but I think is it if somebody wants to do one of my songs, and I'm totally flattered, and amazed on who the person is, and I'll tell you later, because it's a bigger story. But it's like, I think that it's cool if somebody wants to do your song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
And
Well,
if
let's
they,
go ahead and take a listen to it, man. Desvelado. This is Madison Pulido with Tejano Joe. I mean Tejano Joe, Tejano Bluesman. I did that with D, didn't I?
yeah,
When I messed his name.
he's sleeping anyway. We're good.
Yeah, he's asleep. All right. Desvelado with Madison Pulido and the Tejano Bluesman. That's Il Lama. This is Indio here on Cubo Radio.
Voy desvelado por esas calles esperando encontrar a esa voz de ángel que quiero amar. Yo seguiré desvelado y sin será fe que yo encontré una voz de ternura que me llena de placer. Cuando la oigo hablar, con ella me enamoré. Aunque nunca la conocí, sueño en su querer. En sus brazos quiero dormir. Escucho cada día la radio, seguro que la vuelvo a oír. En el cielo busco mi estrella, a la luna quiero subir. Voy desvelado por estas calles esperando encontrar a esa voz de ángel que quiero amar. ¿Dónde andará? Voy desvelado, en mi deseo no me deja descansar, porque despierto y no me pongo a llorar. Yo seguiré desvelado y sin amor. Será fe que yo encontré una voz de ternura que me llena de placer. Cuando la oigo hablar, con ella me enamoré. Aunque nunca la conocí, sueño en su querer. En sus brazos quiero dormir. Escucho cada día en la radio, seguro que la vuelvo a oír. Por el cielo busco mi estrella, a la luna quiero subir. Voy desvelado por esas calles esperando encontrar a esa voz de ángel que quiero amar. ¿Dónde andará? Voy desvelado, en mi deseo no me deja descansar, porque despierto y no me pongo a llorar.
Totally different song. Totally different song.
She
Own it up.
sounds so mature
Doesn't
in that
she?
recording. Yes, it's so
Doesn't she?
exciting.
Doesn't
everybody
she?
everybody says I like that version better.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a story, and this is a true story.
Okay.
I had an interview with Bobby Pulido, and I he confronted me about a situation where somebody told him that I had said some disparaging remarks about Bobby Pulido. And he said, "Hey, I heard you were talking bad about me and all this other stuff after the interview." And I said, "I didn't say any of that, but I will tell you the truth. What I said was, I think Desvelado was a piece of crap song. I hate it." And he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I hate Desvelado. I hated it from when it came out. I thought it was shit. However, it taught me a very valuable lesson because it went platinum. Not every song that I like is going to be a hit, and not every song that I dislike is not going to be a hit. So I should never discount a song just because I don't like it. It's not up to me to make a song. It's just up to the people. So I should not use my own personal feelings on whether I play a song or not. So let the song play. And that's what I learned from Desvelado. I still don't like the song, but I play it.
You don't
And
like Madison's version?
no, no, no. I
Oh,
said
put
I
him
do
on the
like the. I
spot.
said I do like the song. I
Yeah.
like her
Oh,
version, yes,
yeah.
but I don't like the original version of
Right.
Desvelado. And
Right. Right.
but it taught me a very valuable lesson. Now he said, well, he respects my opinion for it, but like I told him, I mean, you can't make me like something I don't like, and
Right.
I didn't like it. I don't like his vocals that were in it. I like the song, the music size, but I didn't like his vocals in it,
Right.
and that was it. But it taught me a valuable lesson, and that's what it did. And I told him, I tell that story all the time on my radio station, all the time. So you can tune in and listen, and you will hear that same damn story every time. Because I don't have a problem telling that story because it's a good
Yeah.
story to hear, for people to understand how I do stand by what I say. I will play every song that is within the parameters of the industry standard. I will play it because it needs to be heard, not because I have a preference,
Yeah.
but because it needs to be heard. I adhere to the fact that good music is good music and it should be heard.
Mhm.
That's it. I do not put my prejudices forward on a song. I don't say, well, I like this person, so I'm going to play their song, and I don't like that person, I'm not going to play their song. I don't do that. That's not who I am, and I would never do that. However, that is why I say that song, because I do have that preference. That is that I have to adhere to that. I have to be loyal to that because that is the only way that I can keep my integrity, and people can count on me for that. They can count on the fact that, man, Lawrence might not like your song, but it's going to get on the air.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
that's good, because a lot of DJs and radio stations and promoters and stuff, they won't do it because they won't give. Sometimes if they don't like it, or they won't give you the opportunity, or they won't, just because their personal feelings get in. It's like, "Oh, I don't like that song, I'm not gonna play it. But what if everybody else likes it? Just because you don't
Yeah.
like tortillas doesn't mean the next guy likes flour or
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but you don't get that. Like Lauren said, he plays it whether he likes it or not because he feels that it's good music musically. Then that's all we can ask for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's exactly like I tell Jerry, my singer, because this is his first time out of the box, and sometimes he gets a little discouraged on where we get airplay, and what, like California is just blowing us up right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We're big time over there, but in our own state we don't get that much play on regular terrestrial stations. And it's like, what, it doesn't matter, because we put out good music and people are going to like the good music, and that's all you should worry about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
you know at the shows, they're going to come, they're going to high five you, they're going to tell you how great your song was, and that's what you need right there. Everybody wants to be on the top countdown and stuff like that, but it's only good, like, if the fans vote you in a countdown, then you're at least people are liking what you did. you
Yeah.
know
Exactly.
not being put on a countdown because certain artists got to be on it every time. You know what I mean? Because it's incredible how amazing that some of these artists they're right within the top 10 as soon as they come out. But a new artist comes out with something, and you're begging to get it on airplay. Like come on, or
Well, I that's one of the reasons that I'm really reluctant about top tens. I don't like top tens because they're very manipulating. Um, it's hard for me to sit there and justify the validity of a top 10 when you can't validate the voting process.
right,
Yes, you can say, well, it's up to the fans to vote, but if you got 100 family members, they're going to outvote a person who only has mom and dad.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
exactly,
So you can't if it's a popularity contest. If a person who is, let's face it, okay, I'll give you this example. I'll give you this example. I had Geneva, who is an amazing vocalist. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had Geneva on, and she got me, I don't know, like a thousand views, and then I had a young lady, and I'm not going to mention her name, and she's a newcomer, very very beautiful, very very attractive, has only one song. Okay, had only one song, and I haven't interviewed her ever since, but she had 4,000 views, but she's beautiful. Okay, she's young and pretty. Attractiveness always gets you more hits. That's what it is. That's always the case, and it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in, and we
yes, that
know
is
this.
But you know what?
exactly,
We,
It's changing, and that's
it
one
is
thing that
changing. It is
I'm excited for because I am not like supermodel size two, whatever. But thanks to people like Adele and
mhm,
Lizzo, it's now becoming, more normal to see real women
yeah,
at
correct.
the forefront. And it's unfortunate because it does not extend over to the men. And I do have to say that because the
Correct.
men do have it easier. And
That's
it's just the
exactly
way
where.
of the world. It's not like, oh, because men are better, women are better. It has nothing to do with that. I do not stand by those women in the business that are always saying, "Oh, well, the doors are always closed for women," because no, they're not. If your
No.
music is good and
yes,
you're out there hustling and you're out there doing your job, I guarantee you will get booked.
yeah,
And so it has nothing to do with that, but it is just the way that the world is, unfortunately. But thankfully, those doors are opening to where it's not all on looks.
right,
Yeah,
right,
and but going back to what I was saying, it's also now, like I said, it's changing now. However, the thing here is that with our platform, the way we are pushing it, we don't cater to anything as far
Hmm.
as we open the doors for everybody. We show every. I think that's why we are so successful, because we don't have the. We're going to only interview these. We're not Abercrombie and Fitch, where everybody has to be
But
beautiful.
they smell good.
you know, they
But
closed
it does.
down.
If you ever walk by the store, I mean, come on.
You know
it's
what? They
sequence,
close. You know why they went bankrupt, right? They got sued because they only hired pretty people.
yes,
Yeah.
They were discriminating against everybody that was not white or beautiful. That's it. And so anyway, they had like a hot rating for their hiring processes. If they were hot, like an 8 or above, they got hired. If they weren't, then they wouldn't get.
That's crazy.
And but anyway, uh, we're not that. We are everyone, and I think that's what makes us so attractive to everybody, because they know their music is going to get heard. They have it. They. I've had artists, and I keep saying it. If you are an artist, or an artist
Hmm.
who has music and wants it to be played, send it in, and as long as it's got the ISRC code, it's within the parameters of the recording standard, because it has to be heard. You don't want it blaring to where if it's too staticky, who's going to want to listen to it anyway, right?
So true.
Yeah,
a
but I mean,
professionally done one, yeah,
yeah, as long as it's got an ISRC code, I'll listen to it, and I'll put it on the
Yeah.
air for you. But the reason you want an ISRC code, because if I play it that way, you'll get your royalties. I am a fully accredited 100% radio station. I have my ASCAP. I have BMI. I have CSEC. I have SOCOR. I have every license available from every radio station that is required, not required, but every radio station can acquire,
Mhm.
terrestrial and internet. I don't have to have an ASCAP and a BMI license. That is only a terrestrial license. I am an internet radio station, but I do have it.
Yeah.
See, so I have mechanical and artist performance. So you will get paid as long as I play your music, which not a lot of stations can say. I can, and I have 100,000 listeners, so you do get paid. And SOCOR and CSEC, which is Canada and England or the Great Britain, they pay you more. They pay you more than Spotify because Spotify only pays you what 0.007 or
Yeah. Something like
0.07% of a
I don't
penny.
even think that's. I think it's
I
even
know it's
less
something like
than
that.
that.
Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean
Canada.
the cool thing about CSAC though is that that one is invite only, so you have to get a
Yes,
special invitation for that one.
yes, and so yeah, but no, they pay you more. They actually pay the artist along with the,
Hmm.
along with the songwriters and they those are licenses that are just way different. So yeah, no, I have it's worth it to me because then that separates me from other radio stations for the whole purpose of that I am more beneficial for the artist. So
right.
that's why I want the artist to come to me because they get paid more. Blah blah blah. And
Blah blah blah.
even even
Blah
Bobby
blah.
Pulido, even Bobby Pulido gets
Look,
played on my
even Rick
station.
Balderrama.
And Rick Valderrama's in the
Hey
house. How are
Rick.
you doing? Rick, how are you doing, brother? Thank you so very much for joining the show. I thought Rick used to talk to me all the time. He doesn't talk to me anymore. You know why?
Because he
Why?
hasn't got paid.
Because
I
Rick,
love it.
Rick and I broke up. We
Oh,
had a disagreement.
So who
He
broke up with who?
he broke up with me.
Oh,
poor
you got
Steve.
dumped.
He dumped me
High
for
school all over.
Ouch.
he,
Did he
he
dump you for a fireman though?
yes he did.
Lawrence, I would dump you for a fireman too, okay?
He told you, Craig.
No,
Second
I'm
day, we're
just
gonna
playing.
fight over the fireman.
Bobby says, I agree with you, Indio, concerning the vocals and on the original Desvelados.
I thought he was gonna agree with you on the fireman.
Moving right along.
Hey, that was just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? You can't make me like something that I don't like. That's all there is to it. But it is just. And yes. By the way, and Rick says, no, Indio, we are brothers for life. Yes, we are. I was just
Aw.
joking around. Me and Rick, we are brothers for life, and we talk all the time. It's just that he's got a new job. He's been working, and I'm used to talking to him every day, but he's been in training, so I have to hold
Oh,
back.
Rick. Okay, I know what it is, Rick.
And I
He
got my, I got,
feels he
I'm getting
feels
my, I can't get my Rick
neglected.
fix. I can't get my Rick fix. I'm like, oh man,
He feels neglected. You have to go take care of him
I
now.
Oh,
know.
geez,
Well, here's the deal. Before he started, I do music videos. I do music videos, and so we were supposed to do a music video, and then we had to put it on. Okay, we're doing a movie, and we're doing a music video. So we had to put them on the side for fanfare. We had to get ready for fanfare. We had to do all the merch and everything else. And then fanfare came back, and then I had Joanna Ray's EP and all that other stuff. And then we are like, okay, we're planning the music video. Then we had to put that aside. And then he started the work, and so now we have to put the music video even more. But
Yeah.
we'll get there, And it's
and then Vegas.
and then Vegas, like he says, and then Vegas happened, and so it's just I mean, we'll get there. It'll get there. It's just that we have to.
Breakfast every week, he says.
Yeah. Breakfast
Rick,
every
you need to send him some
Rick.
flowers.
No, it's just that and it's just one of those things. We have to. we have to bide our time. We just have to bide our time, and
Well, you
that's
get
just
busy and you get caught up in
yeah.
everything
Yeah,
else.
life happens. Life
Yeah, that's
happens.
what happens. Things start rolling. Like I said, ever since this thing came out, this CD came out, things are
Yeah, there
just
you are.
rolling, rolling, and rolling and rolling. It's like, wow, you know, yeah, I just want to get out for a minute and take a couple breaths, and then get right back into it because
And
get
and
caught up.
and also and let's be clear. Rick is a consummate professional, and he doesn't want to do anything hurry up and fast because everything that Rick does is quality, and
Yes.
everything that I do is quality, and that's one of the things that I want to do. And like that's why I adhere to my, I want the station to be what it is. I want it to be the best. I want, you know, when I asked Hilda to be here because I want our show to be the best, and
Aw.
that's
That is
what
so
makes
sweet.
that's what makes our show the best is that
Now, if
we
you
have a
just dress up like a fireman, you really get a lot.
no.
Right? Oh, that would be so awesome. And then get a Dalmatian. Oh.
Ooh.
I'm allergic to pet dander. I can't do that.
Well, you can
So
gift me a Dalmatian.
okay, I
Rick's
will.
allergic, but he can sleep outside. Rick, not the dog.
Hey, Sue. Rick is like, damn it, Lawrence, you've gifted me damnation.
I'm
Rick
kidding. I'm
says,
kidding. I would
Rick
never make
says,
Rick sleep outside.
NPO does nothing but quality work. Thank you, brother. I try. I try my
Aw.
best. I try. You know what? My goal here at the show is and at the radio station is to make sure that, y'all guys have the best time. And then when y'all want to come back, you want to say, you know what? This is that show. I want to come back to that show
Yeah,
because
it's
that was that show.
incredible. It's always good to be on somebody's show that it's not strictly scripted and stuff like that. And it's like let's just let it go, and the conversation goes, and then we throw in a little bit there and there, but that makes for a great interview and a great session, and I love those. I just love those.
And then
Well,
we get
that.
off talking about firemen and cinnamon.
Cinnamon on
Can
the
we talk about
backstage.
Sancho Man now? Because that's
Well, actually, we're to the part of the show where where Joe, where you get to give out your shout outs. You get to let people know. Be sure you let people know where they can go and get your merch, where they can get your stuff. And Rick puts out a fire truck. Where you get to let people know where they can come and see you, where you're going to be performing next, and everything else. So this is all you, brother. We're going to
all
go ahead and step
right.
out. This is going to be all for you, all right? And I'm going to
All
put up
right.
the QR code where the QR code, which I
Yes.
created, by the way, just for you. It goes like this.
But just like,
Aww.
oh, that's so
That's a QR
sweet.
code for the
I
Tejano
think
Bluesman
you.
official show. I mean,
Come
official
on.
website. That's all for you, brother. All right.
Thank you
So
so much. So
this
yes,
is
there is
Tejano Joe.
you can get on there on the Tejano Bluesman website, and you can order any merchandise you want there. I'm gonna lie to you, I haven't really updated too much stuff on there, but you can also get me from DM, on Facebook or Instagram at Tejano Bluesman, .com or Tejano Bluesman anything. Just Google it, you'll find me because I was surprised that I saw myself on there one time. I was Googling, I'm like, wow, that's me. But yeah, anything Tejano Bluesman, you can go on there and get some merchandise. Get the new CD that's out right now. It's only been out for a couple of weeks now, and it's got some great, amazing artists on it as well. And there's a few things that are coming up here in Houston that I'm working on. Hopefully we got this show maybe in Galveston, Dia de los Muertos, which I love, performing for them in LULAC. It's always a fun show. And I continue to do things with Aviso as well. I guess up here with them whenever Rob needs me to come out there, and we always have a good time. And then on the Aviso 40th anniversary cruise as well, coming up in November. Make sure you guys get on that because there's going to be a lot of talent on there, and yours truly gets to perform as well. And there's going to be a lot of other great artists as well, and it's going to be a great time party on the ship and then party in Cozumel. So it's just going to be one great time. And that's the Aviso 40th anniversary cruise that's coming up in November. So be sure y'all check that out. Let's see what else. I'm working on a video shoot as well. I haven't decided which song because there's so many good ones on this CD. I really don't know which one to pick. So I might just have to have, the fans and everybody choose and say, let's see which one we can do, as well. As far as projects coming up, I got I'm gonna help produce one of my artists that sang on my CD as well. She's a newcomer, and Victoria Isabella reached out and she, wanted me to give her a hand and help her get started on this. So I'm excited, and we're going to work on it and get her an EP to come out. So be ready for that because she's got an amazing voice as well. And then I do got a side project, which I don't know if it's you want to call it a side project, but I'm going to be working with. Earlier, I mentioned the name Tyrone Vaughn, and if y'all don't know who Tyrone Vaughn is, then you surely know who Stevie Ray Vaughan is, and you know who Jimmy Vaughn is. Well, that's from the same branch of family right there. So I'm excited that we're going to be working on some stuff together. We're going to be trying to get at each other's shows so that way we can introduce each other to each other's scene, and hopefully some big things are going to be coming out out of that as well. We're going to try to take Texas blues back on the map and put some new put some new blood out there and see how far we can go with that. But once again, anything that you need, you can direct message me or just look for TejanoBluesman.com or Joel Villanueva on Facebook and you'll find me there. And what else? I think that's it.
Well, there you have it. There you have it.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, bro.
That is a lot. That's a good thing though.
That's a good one. Big D just showed up. Daniel Garcia. Hey, be sure you check out Big D's Tejano
Daniel.
Facebook group. He's got some interviews there. Hey, he's got some new merch that he's also selling now. So be sure you check it out, man. He's always supporting Tejano music. Thanks a lot, Big D, for joining us here as well. And so, that's always good. Where are your band members? Who are your band members, and where are they from, brother?
Most of my guys are from Houston. Let's see. I can say this, and I'll probably get in trouble for it, but one of my drummer, he's pretty modest, on who he played for, but he's pretty popular in my eyes because he played for a pretty. I think there was a band called the Platters back in the day. That he played
Platters.
in. What? Yeah. So I'm not going to mention his name because he's very conscious about that. Doesn't want everybody to say stuff, but. Yeah,
and then song from the Platters. Oh my gosh, I love the Platters.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, it just
when I found that information out myself too, it just blew my mind. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
it's incredible. But yeah, and I got my bass player here is Henry. He's from here as well, from Houston, and then of course I got Jerry Tejano D, my lead singer, and then James, which is a keyboard here. He's out of Houston as well. So a lot of these guys, I have them from here out of Houston, and we're trying to work on steadily getting more stuff that's solid and concrete. But once again, a lot of these guys, they play with other people as well. So it's hard to, say, hey, I really need you guys for this show. Don't take no other gigs, or don't do this, or don't do that. That's why I really am looking forward to try to work with just having my own band with the dedicated guys, so I don't have to worry about that situation, because it becomes a problem if someone gives me a gig and it's like, okay, can you guys do it? No, I can't do it, but the other guy can do it, or this guy can do it, and it's like, all right, now I got to try to find this guy, or I got to find a bass player, or I got to find and they don't mean to not to be there, but I understand it. Everybody wants to play with everybody else, and it's usually like first come first serve. So but right now I got a few things, like I said. Viso keeps me busy whenever I get on, with them, because they play a lot. And then a few other things that I'm trying, because I really am not going out there and asking for people to give me gigs, because so far, everything so far has been, I've been so busy promoting that, it takes up a lot of time. And then being out of town working, it really kills me as well. So I'm just so fortunate and happy that the CD is doing so well, And there's a lot of things that are coming out of that CD that, like I said, I'll be working with Victoria on her EP as well, which, I don't know if you heard her song, Corazón Sin Nido, off the CD. I mean, it's incredible, and
Definitely. Well, real quick, Orlando Cardenas, a good friend from San Angelo, Texas, at DJ69 says, Puro Tejano. That's his slogan. And
hey,
I guarantee
Orlando,
Puro Tejano. He's got a deep voice. He's like Puro Tejano. So I can't do it. I mean, I have a high pitch. For a guy, I have a high pitch voice. Puro Tejano. So anyway, Alfredo says, great show. Thanks for what you do. My wife and I are fans of your show. Thank you so very much, Alfredo. We are fans of you guys. Thanks you so very much for being here.
Awesome.
And Joe, thanks a lot for being here, bro. I really do appreciate it. This is your home. Whenever you're ready to come back, you let us know, and we will be here. Like I said, your music is on our is playing on our Hot Tejano hits. Uh, so thank you so very much.
Thank you
Be
guys.
checking out. Be ready to check out Tejano Joe. Like I said, he's going to be in Corpus Christi. You are also
I'll be in Galveston.
in
Hopefully in the
Galveston.
Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, that's October the 28th. Hopefully, I'm going to put that out there, but we'll see how
Mhm.
that goes. Definitely going to be on the 40th anniversary cruise for Aviso in November. So you better get on that one if you want to see some amazing artists and have a good time. You need to get on.
Send me the info on that one so that way I can go ahead and start promoting that one as well. There you go. See all the people that were on there? They're all little people. Look at that. They're all
They
little
are.
people.
I can tell you. Of course, Aviso is going to be on there. Chris Q, Augustine Ramirez, MC2, Johnny Martinez, J.R. Ramos, Mario Jaime. Man, I mean, there George Rivas, Tejano Bluesman is going to be there, and
Hey, I know that guy.
I know that guy, right? You know why I like Agustin Ramirez so much? Because he sang a song goes, uh, what's that song? The Indio song. Damn it, I can't remember the name of the song.
oh man,
He sang a song called Indio,
yeah, I think it is called Indio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Indio.
Indio.
Alan Martinez says, now I want barbacoa.
There you go.
Barbacoa sounds really good.
Don't you get that barbacoa blues, boy.
Don't get the barbacoa blues.
You
Yeah,
can
thank
hear
you
it,
so
you
much.
can check it out, but don't you get it because you don't want to do that. And you want to go down and check out anybody. If y'all go check out the new CD, it's on all digital platforms.
That's
You
right.
know, that's my mug right there.
Yeah. And he's got some wonderful collaborations, but not only that, the rest of all the other songs are also awesome as well. So you got to go out there and get it. Don't worry about. Make sure that you go. I'll put up the website here in a second, and you'll be able to get it. Quedamos juntos. Awesome song. That's what Orlando Cárdenas says. Quedamos
Thank you.
juntos.
Thank
It's
you.
a great song. Thank you so very much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much for your support.
For your support and everything else. Don't forget, next Monday we'll be here on this Thursday. I got Christina Lux coming in for talk to me on Thursday. What you got going on, girlfriend?
I am still in recovery mode.
Still on recovery mode, so
yeah,
that's
I mean,
okay.
my voice is kind of like coming back, but it's still, bro. I don't know. It's just
good.
these darn allergies. We had that kind of like system blow in, that storm. And so all the allergens just kind of got kicked around. And I'm not the only one. It's like everyone down here is like kind of fighting this whole allergy thing. So I'm on the other side of it though.
Thank
So
you,
I'm
Alan.
doing good. So just keep posted. I've got some shows coming up too. September 9th, my birthday. We got a big show coming up. More details next week. But yeah, other than that, just keeping it going.
Awesome.
Alfredo says el sangre de indio. Yeah, esta sangre que corre en mis venas, sangre de indio que corre en mis venas. See, I told you, I know it. Alan says, hey, Joe and the band kicked ass last year in Galveston, and they're going to do it again this year.
Yeah,
that was in 1985 when that song came out. See, I'm a 1985 child.
I was 2.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, guys. We really do appreciate it. Y'all guys, thank you so very much for joining us. If you have had a bad day, if you are just feeling down or everything else, just remember, you matter. We love you. All right? You matter. Every day, planes take off against the wind. Don't let that take you down. Right? You can be strong. Right? So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and listen to Corazón Sin Nido with the Tejano Bluesman and Victoria singing that song. So it goes like this. Thanks a lot. Hey, Joe, stay on for a second. We'll take care of some business after the show. All right?
All right, no problem.
So here it is. Here on Cuba Radio with DJ Indio. That's Hilda Lamas and Joe Tejano Bluesman. We'll see y'all next time. Hasta luego, guys.
Amor tienen tus labios corazón, corazón pequeño, por el que canto, por el que sueño, con ser su dueño, por el que quiero ser feliz. Ay, corazón. Déjame saber de qué es amor.